Hello and welcome to my studio journal. Now back in 2022, I started to redesign my home studio, shifting from software to hardware for the first time. What began as a few videos for some curious students soon became an ongoing unfiltered record. Okay, so now we're just going to open up this USB thing here, which we've done before. This is from Ugreen. And yeah, it's USB 3 extension cable, 16 feet, so that should reach. If I was going and just sticking with my orchestral roots, then what I would do is I would just leave everything in a Logic template and just score and write from there using SoftSynths. But since I've started developing a bit of a hardware studio here, I want something a little different. And that means I have to break out of my comfort zone quite a bit here. I am not an Ableton Live user. I have done things in Ableton before, and I have to admit, I use the arrangement view a lot more than I use any of the session stuff. But if I did do a template for this current setup that I'm doing, it could be something like this. So I have the machine, and I have 16 tracks of that. I have the Force, and I have 16 tracks of that. I have the Mode EX7, 16 tracks of that, and the Roland FA, 16 tracks of that. Then there's the Korg Minilog DeepMind 12 Drum Brute Mini Brute. So I would have this whole template set up like this, and so once again, this is kind of the way I'm used to working, where I just click on a track to record and boom, there it is. Now if I do something like this, I don't really end up using the Akai Force to its full capabilities, and I don't really end up using the Native Instruments Machine Plus to its full capabilities. I'm missing a lot with that, and this is just a tried, tested, and true. You just click on a path and that takes you to that channel of that particular synth, and away you go. That also allows me to use the Yamaha, the Mode EX7 plugin that saves all the settings, and if you look at the Mode EX7, I mean, it has tons of settings in there. So there's no way you could write it down on paper as to what you've done. You'd have to save it as a performance or something like this. But anyhow, this is one of the templates that I could possibly do. In this case, I have Native Instruments scene changes put into here. So when I launch a clip like this, it will launch scene 1 on the Machine Plus. If I click on this, it'll launch scene 2. And if I click on this one, it'll launch scene 3. And so I can actually control the sections of the songs with Machine Plus. I can control that just by launching these clips over here. I'm sure that those can be recorded into the arrangement view. In fact, I know they can be because I did it right here. So when I press play starting here, it'll actually change the machine scenes from scene 1 to scene 2 to scene 3 to scene 4. So this is another option. Now what I do is I had the Force listed here just because I was going to try and get it to launch and do the same thing, launch the different paths on the Akai Force, but after looking at the manual, I realized that's not capable of doing that. It will send program changes, but it will not receive them. Like I said, this is just the beginnings of me trying to figure out the best way to do things, but this would be one way to do it. This is the third template, and it's a little bit more tricky to explain because it's still kind of in a concept stage of something I'm thinking of. This thing right here where it says program change for the Force. When I change or launch a row on the Akai Force, it also launches a program change which changes the scenes on the machine. So basically what this would allow me to do is use the native Machine Plus equipment all the way it's supposed to be used with all the benefits and advantages, and it would allow me to use the Akai Force with all the advantages and the benefits, and yet I could program in the Mode EX, the Roland FA, the Minilog drum, everything else. I could program in just my regular old natural way using the linear recorder. Basically, the Akai Force and Machine Plus would work together in creating the scenes and the patterns and everything as it goes forward. I could record the entire Modi-X system, so all 16 channels, Roland FA, all 16 channels, and control each one of those. But the audio routing would still come back in through the Akai Force. So I kind of get the best of both worlds in the way that I'm using, hardware equipment and not so much the software. I mean, I'm only using software then to really link the timing of the Akai Force and the Machine Plus, as well as being able to do more tricky sequencing, let's say, with things like the Modi X7 and Roland FA and these other sound modules and things. I keep on playing around with this stuff. I'm going to sign off for tonight because I'm starting to talk about synthesizers having 18 tracks of MIDI, and that the mini log, I think I said, had 16 tracks. Well, of course, I know it's only like one MIDI channel. Anyhow, it's been a long day, so with that, I'm heading off. If you'd like to follow the full journey, check out my online studio journal linked in the description. Until next time, I'm just a music teacher having fun. Catch you on the next one.